The boy stole the radio batteries and connected it to a handmade fan, and as the fan spun faster and faster, the radio made a sound. The uneducated father wonders how this works, but the son says with pride that he has invented a wind turbine and that if he makes a bigger one, he can irrigate the drought-stricken land and survive the famine. The father smiled and praised him, but when he heard that he was going to use the family's only bicycle as a spare part, he was suddenly furious. How could he believe in these children's toys now that the family couldn't even afford to eat? So his father angrily pushed Kaza down and broke the generator, telling him to work in the fields with him from now on and to stop messing around with these things. Kaza cried helplessly, but had no choice but to listen to his father. But the drought-ridden land was so sandy that planting anything was a waste of effort. Although he couldn't persuade his father, he saw that everything was ready, except for the axle of his father's bicycle, and he suddenly came up with an idea. Kaza called his brothers to persuade his father that there was more power in the crowd and to steal the bicycle, but they were too young, and their father's powerful aura not only scolded them, but almost beat them up. But just when Kaza was about to give up, his father rode up on his bike like a hero, because his wise mother had told him that if the famine wasn't going to be over, it was better to give it a try and believe in Kaza. So with the support of his parents, Kaza sent his bike to be sawed, then stayed up all night to install the axle, and the villagers, summoned by his father, came to help Kaza build the stand. Their last hope. Kaza lifts the assembled generator out and sets it up next to the well. Then little by little he puts the pump under the water and personally puts the huge windmill on top of the stand. Kaza carefully connected the positive and negative wires, and as the wind picked up, the fan began to turn, and the generator ran smoothly. Kaza's shirt danced as he stood on the high stand, full of hope and confidence that he could do it, but there was no water coming out of the pump. Everyone was a bit worried, but Kaza happily climbed down and looked at the battery and said that the pump could only work if the tank was fully charged. Next the villagers began to dig and wait for the water to come out. Finally a sound came out of the hose a long time ago. The hose coughed intermittently and everyone stared at it not daring to gasp, and then the source of life really did come out. Everyone cheered and jumped for joy. Father was even more excited, hugged him tightly. Villagers digging ditches to let more water to irrigate the land. Now they finally do not have to worry about famine. Father looked at Kaza and regretted his stupidity. He finally realized the importance of knowledge. Soon everything was nourished and the crops sprouted green, and the days were full of life, just like the people's hopeful hearts. And this is a true story. The real Kaza went on to become a graduate and was remembered by his village forever. There may be many moments when we are not recognized, but believe in yourself and believe in the truth.